Yo my people, SidhuJr here, back with another video, and today welcome to a new series on the channel called Talking Points. This is where I go over the last game week of football and just have a few talking points of every game. Better channels do this, but they're all over like 20 minutes, half an hour long. I'm trying to make this condensed as shit. Quick video for you lot. So the 12:30 kickoff was Southampton versus United, where United won 3-0, and the biggest talking point of the game was obviously the penalty. Let's have it right. Southampton were bossing United up until that penalty. Tyler Diblin is cold. This is the first time I've seen him play. He has not got hype by anyone. Why has this kid not got hype? He's 18 years old. He was cooking Dalot, who isn't a bum, by the way. My issue with the penalty is that they've given it to Cameron Archer. He's never taken a professional penalty in his career before, especially when you have Brereton Diaz on the pitch, who scored 7 in 7. So why are you giving a high pressure penalty against Man United to a young kid when you have an experienced pro who takes penalties? I don't know why he took it, but he did. Onana saved it. Momentum changed. It was United's game after that. 2 minutes after the penalty save, De Ligt scores a goal. 6 minutes after that, Rashford scores and it's 2-0 before you know it. Another talking point is Garnacho. Garnacho got benched by Ten Hag this game after starting the last game because of liking a post about Ronaldo. If you don't know what he liked, it's right here. He basically liked a post where Ronaldo was saying how United aren't really going to win a Prem with Ten Hag in charge. He got benched. He gets subbed on. He scores in the last minute. Celebrates like Ronaldo to prove a point. What a guy, by the way. Even Bruno's in his Insta comments saying, "What are you doing? You're stupid." If your captain telling you that in your Insta comments in public, live, oh, Garnacho, give your head a wobble, but I rate it still. I can't lie, I do rate it. The next game was Brighton versus Ipswich, which was 0-0, but let me tell you something, it was not a ball draw at all. And the biggest talking point of the game is that Brighton have to learn from this game, because Brighton aren't used to playing against a low block. They're used to teams playing football against them, playing how they want to play, and that's when Brighton can just expose teams. Teams are realizing Brighton are good, so they're just going to sit back and just try and get Brighton to attack them. The only issue with that is Brighton have sold the two players that could unlock low blocks with Gross and Billy Gilmore. They haven't got anyone in the squad that can unlock a defense like they could, which is a big issue. Brighton need to learn how to play against low blocks. This is not the first time that's going to happen to them this season. They're undefeated this year already. So this new 30-year-old manager needs to figure it out, because he hasn't got a lot of players that can unlock defenses like he had at the start of the transfer window. And I want to touch on Liam Delap, because he's been Ipswich's best player this year when all the hype was around Amari Hutchinson. You got Calvin Phillips in there, you got Jimmy Greaves in the back. He's got everything you want from a modern day number 9. He's got pace, he's got power, he runs a lot, which is so underrated. He does not give up, and he's got technique for someone that big, that strong. I'm saying this time and time again. These kids that are coming up now that were in the City Academy, your Cole Palmers, your Fodens, your Liam Delaps, technically they'll be better than most of these Premier League professionals. Liam Delap is head and shoulders the best player in Ipswich. Cole Palmer is head and shoulders the best player in Chelsea. What do they have in common? Man City Academy. The next game was Crystal Palace versus Leicester, where it ended 2-2, and we need to talk about Ndidi, because he's come and just transformed himself. He was a number 6. We used to compare him to Kante and Rodri and Rice and all these man. He's a 10. He grabbed 2 assists against Palace. Palace aren't no bums. And did you see the ball for that second goal? Bro, we start putting him in Kevin De Bruyne, Odegaard debate. Wilfred Ndidi, Mr. All-Rounder. He disappeared for like 2-3 years, comes back as a 10. What the fuck? And then for me, the biggest talking point of this game is that Palace still haven't won a game this season, which when you look at it from last season, when Glasner came in to the end of the season, they would have finished 4th based on if the Prem was obviously them 15 games or whatever it is. And then you've gone from that to now you haven't won a game in these 4, and they're very easy games you could have won. Like the 2 goals they conceded against Leicester, defensive errors. Every goal they've conceded this year, in fact, could be easily avoidable. The one thing about this game is there was a lot of positives to take from Crystal Palace. Nketiah had a very good debut. Eze, he's gonna ball no matter what. Mateta grabbed a brace after the problems off the field, and the formation change with that 2 up front, Nketiah and Mateta, with Eze in behind, I think it can work for them. They've got a big game coming up. I feel like they need to get a win. The next game was Fulham versus West Ham, where it ended 1-1. And the main talking point of this game is Danny Ings, because where has this brother been? I ain't seen him since he scored 20 goals in that COVID year, and he comes up with a 90+5 equaliser. equaliser. Shout out to the GOAT, bro. And the main talking point of this game is that this was Fulham's game to lose. How they didn't come away with the 3 points is beyond me. They had 21 shots to West Ham's 11. They created 4 big chances to West Ham's 1, which was their goal in the 95th minute. They had 1 big chance in 95 minutes, which they scored from. The next game was Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest, where Forest won 1-0 thanks to a Callum Hudson-Odoi goal. The main talking point about this game is Nuno Espirito Santos' tactical masterclass at Anfield. He knew what he wanted to do from the get-go. He came with a low block, absorbed the pressure, but when Liverpool came into the central areas, when they wanted to play that tiki-taka football that they've been doing under Slot, he compacted the area, made sure they couldn't play how they wanted to play. Then the second half comes around, they start to get a foot in the game, and he brings on Hudson-Odoi and Elanga. Changes the game. Hudson-Odoi, the forgotten footballer, the OG Wonderkid, rising ballers, cuts it on his right foot like he always wants to do and bangs it at Anfield. Makes it 1-0. Nuno realizes they have a lead to hold on, brings on 3 defensive players straight away, low block, compact the central areas, and they win 1-0. And we have to talk about the honeymoon period is now over for Slot, his first defeat in Liverpool, and we played very bad. We were not good in that game at all. We didn't create anything noteworthy. Our only chances was give it to Salah and just hope he creates something out of nothing. But all our game plan was just pass to Salah and hope. Slot, I don't know what he was thinking putting Trent into midfield, because we've seen Trent in midfield before for England. It has not played well. I'm sorry, I'm Trent's probably biggest #1 fan. Don't play the guy in midfield. Play him right back. He comes on in midfield, we lose all control of the game straight away because he's not a midfielder. Whether you like it or not, cool, he can pass the ball, does not make him a midfielder. Play the guy right back. Unfortunately, Slot's tactical decisions lost us the game, whether you like it or not. The next game is Man City versus Brentford, where City won 2-1, and the biggest talking point of the game is that Man City can very well be beaten this season. We've seen that Man City can be got at by smaller teams like Brentford, like Ipswich, who have scored the first goal on them. Unfortunately, Brentford were just not clinical on that day. They had 3 or 4 chances they could easily have scored. If they had Tony scores them 3 or 4 chances. They just weren't clinical, and Man City obviously have the best goal scorer in the world, Erling Haaland, who is clinical. They have a big test coming up next week though, because they've proved they can get gotten at. Their defense isn't as strong as it was last year. They're now up against Arsenal next week, the team that cannot seem to concede at this point. We now need to talk about the Wissa injury, because this is a very big problem for Brentford. Obviously, they've sold Tony now. They're only relied on Wissa and Mbeumo. Wissa has been responsible for 4 out of the 6 goals Brentford have scored this season. He's had 3 goals and 1 assist. He's now injured. The goal scoring and the making relies on Mbeumo. It depends how long this Wissa injury is. If he's out for a good period of time, Brentford can struggle because they have no one. If teams just double up on Mbeumo, they haven't really got anyone that's Premier League proven that you can rely to score your 10-15 goals. The next game is Aston Villa 3, Everton 2, and it's deja vu for Dyche. Another game where they go 2-0 up and end up losing 3-2. Like, his defensive worries continue. Like, he got an injured left back, so he's had to sub on Garner, who is by trade a defensive midfielder, who was at fault for the first goal, and that's when Villa picked up the momentum. But it is Sean Dyche's fault as well, because why? Please, Sean Dyche, tell me why the fuck you're starting Michael Keane in 2024. You have Branthwaite, you have Jake O'Brien, I think that's his name. Surely anyone in the academy can be better than Michael Keane in 2024. Michael Keane in 2024 so ass. He's always been ass. He had 1 good season at Burnley. Dyche, bro, he's gonna be the first one to get sacked if he keeps playing fucking Michael Keane, I swear to God. John Duran needs to start for Aston Villa. If Villa are really about it, if they really are, you start Duran and Watkins in the same team. You can do that easily. Just play Duran a bit behind Watkins, put Morgan Rogers on the left. You've got a good front 4 there. Did you not see the goal he scored? He fucking smashed it from the halfway line or something stupid like that. He scored 3 in 4 and he's come off the bench all 3 goals. He is an elite striker. You need to start him. He's world class. He can be better than Watkins. He's not world class, but he can be better than Watkins. He's only 20 years old. He's got everything you need from a modern 9, like the lap. He's got the speed. He's got the technique. He can jump. Very underrated. This geezer can fucking jump high. Whenever he comes on, he does score. The run is there, bro. He is a class striker to have. Next, we have Bournemouth versus Chelsea, where Chelsea won 1-0 away from home. And the main talking point about this game is obviously Jadon Sancho, because tell the world we are back up. Now he doesn't play for United, I can like this guy again. Jadon Sancho, what a player. What a player. Comes on at half-time, takes the game by the scruff of the neck. He was taking players on, which people said he can't do in the Prem because he's not fast enough. And he looks like a man playing for a manager that trusts him. Jadon Sancho, the ability has never been doubted. Everyone knows he is a world-class talent. We even saw that last year when he went on loan to Dortmund in the UCL run that they had. He was instrumental for them getting into the final. So everyone knows Jadon Sancho can ball. It's just about environment. He's coming to Chelsea. The environment already looks so much better for him. If they can get Jadon Sancho on full form, Chelsea looks scary. Chelsea look very scary. And Bournemouth miss Solanke. They really do. They had 19 shots this game, only 7 on target and 2 hit the woodwork. Their new £30 million star striker to replace Solanke dropped an all-time stinker. He had 3 shots, 2 off target, 1 was a penalty that he missed. All-time stinker. I said it from the beginning, he's ass. They've relied on Semenyo this year to keep them that unbeaten streak. You can't rely on Semenyo for 38 games. He's not going to get you 20 goals like Solanke did last year. I don't really see anyone else contributing to goals. Maybe Tavernier, he can chip in with like maybe 5 to 8 goals. Semenyo can maybe get 10 to 15 if he's like on form for the season. I don't see goals coming from anywhere else, so that's the thing. The next game of the game week was Super Sunday, Tottenham versus Arsenal, North London derby, 1-0 to the Arsenal. And the main talking point of the game was how underwhelming Spurs were. Because going into the game, you could very much argue they were favourites coming into it. They have a stronger squad and they're at home. Arsenal were also missing 2 of their key players in Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. So you thought Spurs actually have a chance to win this game very early on in the season. They didn't really do anything. First half they were okay. Second half they didn't produce anything at all. Even bringing on Odegaard, I think he played well when he came on. He couldn't really produce anything due to obviously Arsenal's defence being so good. And that brings me on to the next one, which is Arsenal don't look like conceding again this season. The only goal they've conceded this season is when they've had 10 men. Gabriel and Saliba mop up everything in the box. Anything that comes in the box, they deal with it like it's nothing, bro. Jurrien Timber, my man of the match. No one went past him. How many players did he face? He had Porro on him, he had Odegaard on him, he had Madison, Kulusevski. He had like 5 players all going on him throughout the game. Locked up every single one. No one got past him, and he's technically very sound. Arsenal have a very good left back here. Calafiori wasn't even needed. They got Timber, who is class. And the last game of the game week is Wolves versus Newcastle, where Newcastle won 2-1 thanks to a late goal from Harvey Barnes. And the main talking point of this game is Newcastle were on thin ice. Now don't get me wrong, they're unbeaten, 2 points off the top, lovely, but their performances are not it. They got outplayed today, they've been outplayed by Tottenham, they've been outplayed by a few teams this season, and 3 out of 4 of their games, they either got the equaliser or the winner after the 75th minute. It's always been a late goal to bail them out. They can't keep doing this. Sooner or later, the performances are going to catch up with them. Real quick, I want to touch on Andre, the new Wolves midfielder. I think he was very, very good. Probably the best Brazilian on the pitch. Nah. Okay, he's the second best Brazilian on the pitch behind his teammate João Gomes. They outplayed, outclassed, outperformed Bruno G and Joelinton, the bigger, better, more expensive Brazilian midfielders. Wolves controlled that game. As soon as Andre comes off, they lose control, they concede. Wolves fans, be excited. Be very excited about Andre, because that midfield with him, Lemina and João Gomes, ooh, Bellegarde right in front of them with Cunha. Oh, please, bro. Wolves look good, bro. That Andre signing. Yeah. They're going to get points this year. But that is my video done for the day. What do you think of this new concept? I'm going to try to do this every week, obviously, for the game weeks. Talking points. New thing. Very simple, very condensed. Let me know your thoughts, man. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. And I will see you next week. Love.